It's time for another cutie map adventure now as we review Viva Las Pegasus. The map summons a reluctant Applejack and Fluttershy to Las Pegasus to find and solve a friendship problem. After being welcomed by hotel manager Gladmane, the two struggle to find one as every pony appears to be getting along. But when some of the hotel's performers start arguing, Applejack and Fluttershy know that they now have a problem at hoof, and solving it may require the help of Apple family foes Flim and Flam. Viva Las Pegasus is the second episode to be written by Chris Wyatt and Kevin Burke, and while this definitely doesn't match up to their excellent debut, it's still pretty well put together. The ways in which the episode works best are with its story and use of characters. Applejack and Fluttershy's apprehensions about going to Las Pegasus are totally understandable. Even when the episode's synopsis was first unveiled, I was instantly curious of how they would be used in such a wild location. The pair work really well together though, and in keeping with their laid-back personalities, and the need to keep things family-friendly, the episode never gets too outrageous. But it certainly doesn't shy away from expressing how fun Las Pegasus can be either. It just looks glorious. I would have liked to have seen more of the exterior setting, rather than have the story just confine itself to a single hotel, but the entertainment that's on display, from various shows to games and even an indoor roller coaster, definitely makes this look like an extremely fun place to visit. The performing ponies all make for some enjoyable new characters with distinctive voices and personalities as well as interesting designs, even if one half of the animal act could easily pass for Minty's grandfather. It's also fun to see Flim and Flam again after a 2-season absence, and while they unfortunately don't come with a brand new song this time around, the way that they're featured and utilised in the episode is still top notch, particularly with how it intertwines with Applejack and Fluttershy's roles. When they initially suspect that helping the feuding brothers might be the friendship problem they were sent for, Applejack is naturally outraged and stubbornly refuses to help, while Fluttershy wants to try and look past their history with the Apple family and help resolve their ongoing confrontation. These reactions are not only faultlessly in character with each pony, they are also equally beneficial to their task, and it's here where Applejack and Fluttershy really shine together, as separating to find their own answers ultimately leads them both to what the big problem is and what they need to do.
Well, Bernard, that adorable bunny from the Acrobat's hat, claims that every morning Gladmane tells the director that the star wants control of the show, and every afternoon tells the star that the director wants to get rid of her. But neither is true. And the Flying Prairinos, the pink prairie dog family, say Gladmane keeps changing their act to make each trainer think the other is doing it.
So all his talk about friendship is just a load of applesauce. He's getting them all to fight with each other on purpose.
But how can we get every pony to believe that's what he's doing?
There must be a way to trick him into telling the truth.
Gee, if only there was a pony who knew how to trick a trickster.
As the episode moves into the third act, the hustle is on as the two discover the truth behind Gladmane's motives and work alongside Flim and Flam to expose them. The entire setup is well plotted but never moves along with any urgency. Nothing about it is ever boring or long-winded, but it just never gets that push that really kicks it into second gear. The majority of the episode's humour also lacks any spark that makes it all that funny or memorable. While I honestly have to say that I think Gladmane is the most forgettable antagonist we've had in quite some time. His role as the scheming mastermind behind a caring face seemed obvious from the outset, and his ultimate motivation of corporate greed and power at the expense of maintaining a positive atmosphere in a working environment is about as generic as they come. That being said, praise is warranted for how he instantly knew he was being conned, and wasn't fooled by Flim and Flam's plans or Fluttershy's disguise. So while I personally found Gladmane to be bland, I can appreciate that the script doesn't characterise him as unintelligent. And credit where it's due to the script for how it does have the narrative take a few twists and turns as it progresses, like how it initially looks like the conflict is just going to be a disagreement between Flim and Flam before it develops into something deeper and more expansive, or how our ponies eventually reveal that Gladmane not buying into their con was all part of a successful double con. Despite a rather obvious conclusion, it's these little twists that keep the story from being too predictable. and perhaps most amusingly and commendably, it refrains from reforming Flim and Flam in the process. Seeing them use their scamming techniques for a positive and helpful purpose is a nice change of pace, but once the hustle is over, they immediately go back to their old ways. Viva Las Pegasus has all the makings of a fantastic episode, but it never feels like it reaches its full potential. Something's definitely missing here to push it up to the highest caliber, but with its grand if limited visualization of a new location, smart story, and great use of its main characters, it's just about strong enough to get a gold star score of 8 out of 10.
Viva! Viva!